1510, Kansas City.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875% fixed. While other lenders are talking about high interest rates, we're dropping rates. And we can get it done for you in as little as 14 days. Golden Oak Lending has just secured several $1 million that we can offer you as fixed rate mortgages for 4.875%. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments.
1 minute, gentlemen, 1 minute. 10-4.
Validation customers save an average of $1,104 every month. And at Golden Oak, you never pay for your appraisal up front. Lock in this incredible 4.875% rate now before it's too late and say goodbye to those high-interest credit card rates. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured by blue.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We got a great show lined up for you. Tyler Courtney, Ashton Torgerson, and Pat Warren, and Chase Briscoe is going to join us.
A lot of sound. We're about a week out from big weekend here in Kansas City. Got the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, ARCA Menard Series, all coming to Kansas Speedway next weekend, and the High Limit Racing, the Kubota High Limit Racing at Lakeside Speedway next Friday night. So, man, we're getting all geared up for that. Let's hope that Mother Nature cooperates with us. Get all this rain out of our system.
Right.
This week, get it out of the way.
They're talking about a lot of rain for next week.
Well, during the week, but it looks like the weekend we might be okay. But
good.
I do know that man, they had Ross Chastain was here in town. Did you see he's got his watermelons for sale over there at the Hy-Vee and maybe at the Price Chopper too over there in Shawnee Mission.
He's a watermelon farmer.
So he's got his own watermelons for sale there, and get them while you can. They're just a limited time over there, and it was pretty cool that Ross was in town and running around.
Right.
I was gonna go over and get some audio from him, but my wife's car had some issues, and so I took her car in. But it was pretty cool to see him all around town. I saw Facebook. If you follow Kansas Speedway on Facebook, he was all over places, everywhere around. It was pretty cool. He was down visiting the kids at the Kansas City police station. They had some kind of youth camp down there, and he visited that, and a couple grocery stores. Pretty cool.
Ross Chastain is the most recent Cup Series winner.
Absolutely.
At Kansas Speedway. He won out here last fall. So
gotta break those watermelons.
We want to give a shout out to Morning Boys from Central Point, Oregon. Kelly's checking
in this
Welcome
morning.
to everybody tuning in this morning. Yeah, we got a big weekend coming up. I saw Chase Briscoe out at Kansas Speedway on Wednesday and took a ride around Kansas Speedway with Chase in the Toyota Pace car. And shall we say he was
up by the wall,
was stretching it to the limit. He got it up next to the wall. And if I compare that to the ride I took with Kyle Larson up at Iowa Speedway a couple of weeks ago, I told Chase as I was stepping out of the car, I said, you did better than Kyle when he took me around Iowa Speedway.
What did he say?
He said, well, I'm glad to beat Kyle at something. But Chase, he was riding the rim up at Kansas Speedway pretty hard around there. So it was a pretty thrilling
How-
ride.
how
that
fast
Chase
were you
Briscoe.
going, Kirk?
125 mile an hour he added up to at one point, he said. Now, I'm wondering what the condition is of the Toyota pace cars after all that.
I didn't
was
make it
taking
out
people,
there.
He was taking some of the media members for rides. You had prior commitment. You couldn't make it. But I was glad to get it in because, there was weather all around. And I was afraid when we were driving out there that it might get rained out. But we got the rides in. I got an interview with Chase Briscoe. We'll hear from that interview coming up here later in the show. But that was a fun time out there. But Tyler Courtney, we got on the show.
Right.
He's doing good right now. He's got some great runs. He's fighting with Brad Sweet for the High Limit Championship. He'll be at Lakeside Speedway next Friday night along with all the other stars. Kyle Larson will be there racing his sprint car along with Brad Sweet, who won the races last year at Lakeside Speedway. So we're looking forward to that event coming up on Friday night. So we got a big weekend coming up.
David Gravel opens up his lead to over Logan Schuchart by 80 points last night.
Back in the winner's circle last night, wasn't he? 6th win for David Gravel.
He led every lap, didn't he, Kirk?
Yeah, he was. He had it all hooked up at Eldora Speedway last night. We've seen it before out of David Gravel.
Every time that he starts on the front row, you got to put David Gravel as the favorite when he starts on the front row.
It's going to be hard to beat.
Right.
Gravel, first of all, he qualifies well. He was the number one qualifier last night. He wins his heat race, and, in the dash, he started on the outside of the front row of the dash, and it won it. So that put him on the pole, and, how much more perfect can you be? It's kind of like Sheldon Hodenshield, the race before, the weekend before, when he won at Hobstadt, he was perfect. Well, David Gravel did the same thing last night at Eldora Speedway.
Donnie Schatz did pretty good last night, too.
That's his best run of the year, wasn't it?
It was.
Started 10th and ended up 2nd in a Chevrolet Power sprint car. Donnie Schatz walked out of there with a good finish last night. Cole Macedo finished in 3rd, another impressive performance by Cole Macedo. This is Carson's brother, who's driving for Wayne Johnson in the 2C car.
Right. He started 12th and ended up running 3rd.
And Logan Schuchart started 14th and ends up 4th. So good run for Logan Schuchart. We got to talk about another one of our guests on the show today, Ashton Torgerson, Scott. We're going to hear from Ashton coming up later in the show. We had him on Monday's Mostly Motorsport show. He is the new driver for Shark Racing in the 1A car after Jacob Allen decided to retire from driving. They had 3 nights of Cale Thomas. That didn't work out, and so they hired Ashton Torgerson, who, that turned a lot of heads and raised a lot of eyebrows with that hire. But so far, Ashton Torgerson's done pretty well.
Kirk, they had a couple problems last night with the 1A car.
Sorry about
They
that.
did. Ashton Torgerson did really well last night. Of course, his second night out, he won at Baps Motor Speedway out in Pennsylvania. That was last Sunday night. That shocked everybody. And we had Ashton on the show the day after that, and you'll hear that interview coming up a little bit later in the show. But Ashton, at first time ever at any of these tracks, never even been to the state of Pennsylvania before, finished 20th in his first ever visit to Port Royal Speedway, which that's good. You did good just to make the show. And then the following night at Baps Motor Speedway, he wins the feature event against 43 of the best Pennsylvania drivers that there are. The PA Posse, the only car I didn't see there that night was the Don Kreitz 69 car with Ryan Smith, who won the night before at Port Royal. Other than that, it looked like all the other Pennsylvania Posse guys were there, and Ashton Torgerson, at 20 years old, beat them all.
He started 8th last night. He ended up running 20th.
Yeah. It's unbelievable what this kid is doing. And last night he got a good qualifying effort, his first ever visit at Eldora Speedway, and he was battling with David Gravel in the the dash last night. He made the dash. He finished second in his heat race. He made the dash, and he was battling with David Gravel for the lead when the engine blew up. So they had to replace the engine in the car. They didn't have a whole lot of time because they sped through the program because of the threat of rain.
Kirk,
They got the engine replaced in the car, but he wasn't able to make the line, so he was penalized the spot in the order, so he had to start 10th. But when he got pushed out, the car he couldn't get it fired. Couldn't fire the car, so they had to come back into the pits.
Right.
And they finally got it fixed where they could refire the car, and he had to start at dead last instead of 8th. And he ran all 30 laps of the race and come out of there with a 20th place finish. So I thought the kid's doing very well so far.
They went in and did a change on the mag.
That's how they were able to get it fired.
Right. Yep.
So instead of a 10th place start, he would have started 8th had they got the engine replaced in time to make the be in line for the cars to come out on the track. But starting at the back and got all the laps in, and very impressive performance by the young Ashton Torgerson, who we remember a couple of years ago got thrown out of the race car at the Chili Bowl.
Right.
And survived that. When the belts came loose at the Chili Bowl and got thrown out of the race car, we all remember that. That's a miracle. He survived that, and now look what he's doing. It's been an incredible story for Ashton Torgerson.
Brady Bacon picked up the win with the USAC cars last night.
Milestone victory for Brady. 60th career win. There's only one other guy that's won 60 non-wing USAC sprint car races. That's Dave Darland. Brady Bacon's the second.
Right. So, what do you think about Brady Bacon breaking that record?
He's not running full-time USAC non-wing sprints this year. He's just running part-time. And he's not in the Hoffman car. He's in the Chris Dyson number 20 car on a part-time basis this year in the USAC non-wing sprint cars. Well, that's not the first time he's won at Eldora Speedway, Scott. He last won there in 2018 in the Let's Race 2, and I think he won a 4-crown race there one time. But Brady still looks pretty good in those non-wing sprint cars, doesn't he?
Our old friend Garrett Williamson, he ended up running 11th, and he took it up to 12th.
Now we're talking about the Back to the World of Outlaws race.
Right.
Yeah, he's. I think he's doing pretty good out there as full-timer on the World of Outlaws tour, isn't he?
He is.
Going for the Rookie of the Year in 2025. Yeah, I always enjoy Eldora Speedway, and they were lucky to get the night in, Scott, when the checkered flag flew for the
rain started.
The rain started.
Right.
So they were speeding through that program.
It was sprinkling before that, right before that race.
Yeah.
It was sprinkling.
Lucky to get it in, weren't
right,
they?
Yep.
Yeah. So congratulations to David Gravel and
Scott's
Brady
saying
Bacon.
it might be getting tough getting it in tonight, is what Scott's saying on the chat room. That Eldora
So
might
the
have
forecast not looking good in western Ohio.
So just keeping heads up before you're heading out. Make sure you're checking all the social media.
You're saying that's a big if for night 2 of Let's Race 2.
That's what Scott just posted. Not our Scott, but Scott Reinhardt on our chat room said.
Right.
So
I'm thinking about going to Knoxville tonight, Kirk.
Well, I think they'll get it in, won't they?
Yep.
I think things look good at Knoxville. You were there last week.
I went up there. I'm thinking about going there every week.
Why not? You got a place to stay up there.
Right.
We got the camper up at the North Campground. So
Marie just said all PA tracks have canceled tonight.
That's sad. Hate to hear that.
Right.
So we know that must mean it's just raining pretty hard up in the
PA.
east, up in the PA East Coast area. So
I think we're going to be okay around here, are we not?
Yeah, it was raining still though this morning. I couldn't believe it. You guys had rain this morning. It had stopped quite a bit already last night at my house. It was pretty dry. But I come rolling in here this morning, guys, and
Should I check the weather up at Knoxville?
Oh, it's always good to check the weather this time of the year.
Yeah,
What is
it's
it,
May.
May 3rd? There was one event that did get canceled a couple of days ago. There was supposed to be Power Eye Midgets, and then tonight the Power Eye Non-Wing Sprint Cars, along with the MWRA, at Sweet Springs
Sweet
Motorsports
Springs.
Complex. But too saturated grounds on Thursday. They pulled the plug for the whole weekend. They were supposed to race last night and tonight, but no go at Sweet Springs. The other rain out that occurred last night was the Malvern Bank Late Model Series. The West Series was supposed to race at Electric City Speedway near Butler, Missouri last night. Mother Nature put a stop to that, but tonight they'll be at Central Missouri Speedway near Warrensburg. I'm planning on heading down to that. Joe Kosiski's series will be there. Look like they're going to have pretty good car count. They had pretty good numbers down at Butler last night, so I'm expecting pretty good list of late models at Central Missouri Speedway tonight, and that is still on for
Central
Missouri
it
Speedway.
looks good up there in Knoxville, Iowa.
I think it's good.
It's going to be 60 degrees up there
there
tonight.
you go. Just bring you a jacket. You should be good.
Rico will not be there last night or tonight. He was there the last two Saturday nights, and he won. He's racing with the high limit
He's
down in
Texas.
So we'll see a new winner at Knoxville tonight. But Rico's looks like he's got Knoxville figured out right now, doesn't he?
Sure does. Lakeside thought they were going to get their race in last night, guys. Boy, they'd even posted pretty early on, said, hey, we know a lot of other tracks have already pulled the plug. Come on out to Lakeside. And then
Did they get it in?
No, we got another monster rain that came in probably when they were trying to work the track. And it was, I had never, Scott, the drops were just huge. They were monster raindrops, and
you would know because
I'm right-
Lakeside's in your
it's in my backyard. And like I said, my lake in my neighborhood, it just looked like grenades going off in the water because of how much big the water dropped. So
right,
it was very quick. It went through real quick, but the amount of rain that they got, I just thought when I headed up towards Lansing, which is just a little north of Kansas or Lakeside Speedway, it was sop up there. So I thought, oh, they're gonna have an issue. And sure enough, I got home. I sent Kirk the message, said, "Yeah, they just pulled the plug." So I know they tried. They really, really tried, guys. They
want to make sure everything is in good shape for next Friday
Absolutely.
night. When the Kubota High Limit Racing comes to town. Rico will be there. Tyler
Right.
Courtney, Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet, they'll all be in attendance next Friday night at Lakeside Speedway, and looking forward to that event. Want to make sure the track and the grounds are all good for that event.
Absolutely.
Coming up next
Pits are fine. They're all. They even said, we're good in the pits. It was concrete down there. Everything was fine. But boy, the amount of water that was. I mean, it looked like a river rolling down through there this last night. So, like you said, getting ready for this week is the most important thing, guys.
Speaking of high limit, they're going to be at 81 Speedway on Wednesday night, one of the few tracks that host both World of Outlaws and high limit racing. They'll be at
Should
81
we go to
Speedway
that, Kirk?
Wednesday night. Well, that's your call. I haven't decided yet what my plans are. I will be at Lakeside Speedway, though, next Friday night.
Right.
Of course, everything's going on at Kansas Speedway.
Kirk will be at Lakeside. I'll be at Kansas Speedway.
Of course, NASCAR's at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend, and high limit racing is at the dirt track at Texas Motor Speedway. They raced there on Thursday night, where Brent Marks was the feature winner. We saw Brent at. You saw him up at Knoxville last Saturday night. He was not at the World of Outlaws race, but he was at the season opener last Saturday night, wasn't he?
right.
So Brent Marks was the winner Thursday night. They did not race last night because they didn't want to go up against the truck race, but they'll be racing tonight at the dirt track at Texas Motor Speedway. They were supposed to race at Rocket Raceway Park in the Elite Series. I think Christopher Bell was supposed to race in that, but that got called off due to rain. But I think the weather looks good in Texas for the rest of the weekend, too, I believe, looking at the forecast with the NASCAR and high limit there.
Yeah, everything looks good down there so far. So it's May, but I think Texas is fine.
Had a truck race last night at
Boy.
Texas Motor Speedway.
Went to
Pretty
overtime.
Exciting finish.
went to overtime. Kirk hadn't been to overtime in like 22 or 23 races in that series.
That's surprising.
And
It's gone that long.
But Texas is the track has had 13 overtime finishes, or that was the 13th.
Got another one last
so they
night.
got another one in last night.
Corey Heim picks up the win. He's the same guy that swept the 2 races at Kansas Speedway last year. Had to battle with Ben Rhodes and also Daniel Hemrick, who was driving the 19 truck last night. And looked like Rajah Caruth might have had a shot at it as well, but Corey Heim won the battle on the restart at the end. Ben Rhodes
How did Daniel Hemrick
let off.
How did Daniel Hemrick end up running second?
Well, he was down on the bottom of the racetrack. Ben Rhodes got pushed to the outside and had to let off, and he ended up 6th. But I think Hemrick was just in a better spot to challenge him down on the bottom of the racetrack. And Corey Heim just was able to get around Daniel Hemrick and stay out in front for the win.
There was a lot of shuffling going on that last couple laps, Well, like you said, it was overtime, and they had that big crash. They had a red flag. They had a red flag there for a while, guys. They had to stop the cars on the backstretch and get everything cleaned up.
After Stuart Friesen and Grant Enfinger got into it, and Chandler Smith, who I thought had a pretty good shot at winning that race, got caught up in it through no fault of his own.
Yeah, tore a big hole in the wall, guys. They had to come out and
they had to fix the wall.
They are out there with welders and grinders and had to fix the safer barrier before they could get that race going again. So that's why they had the big red flag on the backstretch. They stopped those cars. And I tell you what, like you said, Joey Logano was explaining it during that race. He's like, look, we know you guys want to get this race going, but we've got to make sure there's not a giant hole in the wall where these guys could get hurt. So good call on them. Overtime was inevitable once that next caution came out, but it's a good race, like you said. It's always fun.
Schedule today is the Cup cars who are supposed to be on the track at 10 o'clock this morning for practice and qualifying. They're going to have the Xfinity race at 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can watch that on the CW network. And then tomorrow is the Cup race at Texas Motor Speedway. That gets the green flag at 2:30 our time tomorrow. You can watch that on FS1. So that's the precursor to Kansas Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway.
All right, we're going to take a break. Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. When we come back, Tyler Courtney's going to join us next here on Track Talk. And what do you say about that?
We got Pat Warren, president of Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, live.
Coming up live a little bit later on in this hour.
All right, we're going to take a break. Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We'll be back in a moment with more Track Talk.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
I'm 4 minutes, gentlemen, 4 minutes.
10-4.
Occurring right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of mental or physical abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to Be Free. Together, we can fight human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
This is Chris Igo with Heartland Chevrolet in Liberty. If you're looking for a new Chevy, come check out Kansas City's fastest growing Chevy dealership. We're locally owned and operated and invested in the Kansas City community. We have many new and used Silverado 1500 and 2500 heavy-duty trucks in stock right now. I'm confident that if you're looking, we have the truck you've been looking for in stock. Come see us in Liberty or have us deliver it to your home. Heartland Chevrolet, where nice people buy from nice people.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. My team knows injury law. We can help you understand all of your legal rights so that you don't get cheated.
DM Law knew what to do and got me $350,000.
Mike's got this.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Spring is here, and there's no better time to refresh your drive with a new Acura from J-Wolf. Feel the luxury, performance, and style as you cruise into the new season with the latest models, like the thrilling Acura MDX, the sleek TLX, or new 2025 ADX. Plus, with exceptional spring offers, getting behind the wheel has never been easier. Visit J-Wolf Acura today and experience the difference. Visit jwolfacura.com, because at J-Wolf, they'll spring you into performance.
2 minutes, gentlemen, 2 minutes.
4 brand new tires plus free pizza for a year. That's what. Now through May 24th, get a free pizza for a year when you purchase 4 tires from your locally owned and operated Big O Tires. That's right, free pizza for a year with the purchase of 4 tires. So what are you waiting for? Visit any one of the 13 locally owned and operated Kansas City Metro Big O Tire locations today. Go to BigOTires.com to find the location nearest you and schedule an appointment. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Hey, it's Lebo here. Are you ready to experience the workout everyone's talking about? Basecamp Fitness is offering 5 days for just $5. So you can see for yourself why their members love it there. 5 days for just $5. Whether you're new to fitness like I was a year and a half ago or a seasoned pro like I'm not yet, Basecamp Fitness is the place to get you stronger, feel better, and have fun doing it. Don't miss out this limited time offer. Your first 5 days, just $5. Call 913-232-9770 or visit basecampfitness.com and make sure to tell them Lebo sent you.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Hot Tub Sale. We have hot tubs coming in every week. No need to wait for months. Come get your dream hot tub today. Family Leisure also has pools in stock. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family. Come in and see our huge selection of patio furniture. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for pool tables, shuffleboard, bar stools, and home theater seating. All priced to go. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome!
Stroll wide open spaces and find solace by the ponds in 700 acres of freedom. The CW Ranch and Farm venue offers a slice of tranquility in Fredonia, Kansas, an escape ready to explore. Perfect for your next corporate retreat, family reunion, wedding, or celebration. ATVs, fishing, jet skis, and pickleball, nature's beauties are backdrop. Inside, enjoy an arcade, pop-a-shot, pinball, ping pong, pool, and cue the karaoke. More at the CW Farm and Ranch venue.com.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I want to give a shout out to Good Morning from Miamisburg, Ohio. Marvin is checking in.
And we want to welcome everybody that's tuned in from all over the world. We even got listeners from Australia tune into our show. So welcome to everybody. High Limit Racing is in action tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway dirt track. Brett Marks won the race on Thursday night. Tonight, Kyle Larson will be in action at Texas Motor Speedway dirt track. I hear he's running the Xfinity race today. Did you hear that?
I did not. I'll have to check that out.
Filling in for the injured Connor Zilisch.
How about that?
So would he do 2 races in one day?
Wow.
Do the Xfinity race and then race his sprint car tonight? That'd be kind of cool. But Tyler Courtney is coming in on a pretty good roll. He's had some really good finishes. He finished in 4th place on Thursday night in the High Limit race. That's coming off a 3rd place finish with the World of Outlaws at Hobstadt, and finished 4th in that 65-car field at Knoxville a couple of weeks ago. So that backed up with a couple of other top finishes in High Limit before that. So Tyler Courtney comes in 56 points behind Brad Sweet. In the championship for High Limit, we had Tyler Courtney on our show on Monday, Mostly Motorsports show, and here's just a little bit of that conversation.
You're 47 points back Do you think you got a chance to catch Brad Sweet?
Yeah, I think you always got a chance, right? But yeah, it's pretty early. We're only 6 races in, and we got 54 to go. So that's a lot of the
right.
a big majority of the schedule left, and go to a lot of tracks that we're more familiar with. We went to a lot of tracks we didn't even had never been there before to start the year. So yeah, it's gonna be a long summer, and it's hard, but we're excited for the challenge, and hopefully improve a little bit on what we learned last year to try and knock Brad off his perch there.
Well, you've had a good last couple of weeks outside the high limit races, haven't you?
Yeah, no, it's been it's honestly been a pretty decent start to the year. We haven't won a race yet, but I don't think we finished outside the top 10 at all this year. And yeah, the last few races here have been inside the top 5. So it's been a good week or good few weeks, and then we get back on the high limit schedule here coming up in Texas.
You've been pretty consistent though. You've got 6 features, 6 top 10s, and 3 top 5s. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's been a great start to the year. Yeah, like you said, we've been consistent, which is what you're striving for, racing for a championship, especially when you're racing against a guy like Brad Sweet, who's ultra consistent all the time. So it's been a good start. We just got to keep putting ourselves in positions to be up front like that, and hopefully start knocking down the feature wins to make our year a little bit better. But for now, we're just focused on being consistent and working our race car to get a little bit better to win those races.
Boy, competition level you've been up against here the last couple of weeks has been pretty stout. You had that 4th place finish up at Knoxville. You had to feel real good about that. But Saturday night at Hobstadt, Sheldon had a perfect night, but you were right there. Yeah, no, it was a good. Yeah, last couple weeks have been really great. Showing up to Knoxville, and there was almost 70 cars there, and to run top 4, arguably probably one of the toughest fields of the year so far, and one of the hardest racetracks you can race at. It makes us feel good, especially going towards the summer when we're all working towards the Knoxville Nationals, and then go to a completely different racetrack in Hobstadt that's a tiny little bull ring versus the half mile at Knoxville, and go there and run top 3 again with the World of Outlaws. Makes us feel good, and know that we're going in the right direction with our program. And we just needed a couple different breaks there in the feature on Saturday at Hobstadt, but ultimately come out of there third is a great night. You had a lot of experience there in your USAC days at Hobstadt. That's a different animal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a whole different animal. I wasn't a huge fan of it when I ran the USAC stuff. Just could never quite get a grasp of it, but I've been a little more fond of it with the wing on top. We won a race there last year with IRA, and then we've ran top 5 almost every time, I think, with the Outlaws there. So it's been a little bit more kind to me in my wing years than it was in my USAC years. But yeah, it's just a slippery bull ring that's hard to get a hold of.
And get back to Knoxville. Of course, everybody's thinking ahead to the Nationals coming up in August. You've had pretty good. You won the 360 Nationals up there last year, so you've been getting around Knoxville pretty well too, haven't you?
Yeah, no, Knoxville's been probably one of our better racetracks, and yeah, like you said, we won 360 Nationals last year, and then we started 3rd and ran 7th on the 410 Nationals, and a couple years ago we started on the front row and led some laps, and so yeah, we're getting closer there. It's just it's a really hard place to win. You got to be perfect from the drop of the green to the end of the night. So, but yeah, we're getting better each time we go there, and it's always working towards August to try and win the Knoxville Nationals. That's our biggest race of the year. That's what we work for all year, and we keep chipping away at it, and eventually we'll end up in victory lane there, hopefully.
Boy, the relationships you've got, NOS Energy Drink and, of course, Clausen Marshall Racing, just kind of talk about how big that is to have that kind of a combination in your racing career.
Yeah, it's huge. I think we're going on our 8th year here with NOS, and then I think this is my ninth year with Clausen Marshall. So, to have people believe in you like that for, almost a decade, makes you feel good as a race car driver, and just to have those relationships and people behind you is something you don't see very often in this sport. And it's just nice to have have that comfortability, and it's more like a family versus, I know people say that a lot, but I truly believe that, I've got a family around me there at Clausen Marshall, and my team, we've got the same 3 guys back this year as we did last year, and having that is huge. But yeah, it's just been awesome, my time there, and hopefully my time in the future there.
Hey, talk about racing for the Marshalls. That has to be a real thrill for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, they're 2 of the best people you can have in your corner. They love sprint car racing. They don't obviously they don't have to do this. They've had a lot of success in their own lives to just be happy living the rest of their lives doing what they want to do. But they love sprint car racing, and they put back into it more than just our team. They support a lot of people from all aspects in the sport, to racetracks, to series, to racers and things like that. So it's awesome to have those people, and yeah, hopefully we get to keep them around for a long time. I know Richard and Jennifer, they love this sport more than most people, and it's awesome to see them get excited and when we do well, and them support us too when things aren't going the way we want them to.
Let's talk about some of these tracks coming up here in a little bit. You're going to be in our area at Lakeside Speedway here in a couple of weeks, but this weekend you're going to be at the Texas Motor Speedway, and your thoughts about heading in there. It's a Thursday and Saturday night show this weekend. That's been a big track for the high limit racing, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's been a good addition for us. I think, having a marquee place like that coincides with NASCAR weekends, helps build our series, and, helps I think it helps NASCAR too, get some of our dirt fans over to their races. And, excited to get back there. We've ran well there in the past, and I think it pays decent money too. So excited about that. But yeah, TMS is fun, and it's fun for me too. My brother and my little niece and their family, they live right there in Fort Worth, which is about 40 minutes from the track. So get to go down there and spend some time with them, because obviously I don't get to see them, a whole lot. But with us, pretty much starting our year at TMS and ending our year at TMS, it's nice for me to get down there and see them.
And then you're heading to 81 Speedway coming up a week from this Wednesday night, and then here at Lakeside Speedway on Friday night, May the 9th. Talk about those 2 racetracks.
Yeah, I've only ran 81 once. I think we got tornadoed out there last year, but I know it's a fun little racetrack, and yeah, just get to do some midweek racing, and it'll be a tough one. I know Kyle's I think actually racing TMS, and then he'll be at pretty much all the midweek shows. So 81 will definitely be one of those, and excited for that. And then Lakeside's been a good track for us too. I think we've been close to winning there. Haven't quite won there yet, but we've been really good. And the Kansas City area is a huge hotbed for sprint car fans. So it's cool to get there and have our Missouri fans get to see us.
Right now, this is getting right back into it. What are your thoughts about the franchise system that they announced here a few weeks back, and what Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson have put out there to help the team owners? That was a big announcement that they made here a few weeks back out in Las Vegas, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think now as an owner, you're going to have a value to your team. So let's say you get to the point where you're ready to step away from the sport, and you have this franchise to sell. You're going to get at least a value out of your team now. So, and then it gives you something to look forward to in that aspect. And then me as a driver, I think it'll help on that end, because it's a big chunk of money that's going to the teams that will be dispersed. Kind of it's up to the teams and drivers to discuss how they're going to do that. But then also me as a driver, looking to the future, if one day I want to own a team, I have the ability or possibility to purchase a franchise, and as a new team, you've got guaranteed money to start the year with. So it's a nice way to look at it that way, and I think it's a little bit of a work in progress, but I think the way they've structured it for now is going to be great all the way around from teams all the way down to the drivers.
There was a lot of criticism when this all came about. When Brad and Kyle decided to go full time with this thing, but from the way I look at it, it's helped all of sprint car racing, has it not? You see more teams out there in both the Outlaws and the high limit racing right now. There's more money World of Outlaws are paying more money now. They probably wouldn't have had the high limit not occurred. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, we took a little bit of criticism as a series, for starting up or whatever, and, quote unquote, competing against the Outlaws. But I think there's definitely enough tracks and drivers and teams to, coincide with each other. And I think, it's done is bring, one, the level of competition up, two, the purses have gone up. And, I think it's just going to continue in that direction. I think you've seen, a huge, like you said, a huge increase in money being paid out. And I don't think that happens without another series coming into play here. But, and also, like you said, there's more traveling teams, combined. When you look at both series, there's more traveling teams nowadays than there ever has been, which I think is great. I think it's awesome for these teams to get out and, get to travel the country and, live out dreams that I know a lot of us have had to do this. And, it wouldn't be possible without both series, stepping up and, paying out more money to allow us as teams to come out here and do this.
There you have it. Tyler Courtney joining us on Mostly Motorsports.
They were supposed to have a race at Texarkana on Wednesday night.
Right.
Has there been a promoter that's had more issues with rainouts than Tim Crawley down at Texarkana? He's had these short track nationals wiped out the last couple of years, and he's had more trouble with the rainout than anybody, and so they weren't able to get that show in on Wednesday night. But, the weather looks good for tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. We'll see if Sunshine can keep his top 5 streak going tonight. And, of course, we'll see him out here at Lakeside Speedway next Friday night, 81 on Wednesday night up next weekend. Good guy, Sunshine. Tyler Courtney.
All right, Pat Warren's going to join us next here on Track Talk. And it's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Pat Warren joins us next right here on Track Talk.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
You got 3 minutes, gentlemen. 3 minutes.
10-4.
He's so local anymore. Hi, I'm Liz with Summit Heating and Cooling, locally owned and operated in friendly North Kansas City. We treat each other with respect and treat our customers the same. We specialize in mid to upper tier equipment installs and focus on industry best practices without the corporate price tags. That's how we do things. Schedule online or call us today, 816-832-7770 or summithckc.com.
The Sporting Kansas City season is here, and you can tune in to all Sporting KC coverage exclusively on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You can catch all of the live broadcasts, interviews, and more right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Brought to you by Greenlight Dispensary. Make sure to check out greenlightdispensary.com for all premium cannabis products. The best cannabis deals are always at greenlightdispensary.com. Go Sporting!
Is your business image due for a facelift? Digital Lagoon, a local company since 1995, can help. Our talented team of programmers, designers, and digital marketers work with you to enhance your brand and stand out. Whether it's a new or refreshed website, a social media campaign, custom signage, brochures, or other marketing tool, we'll ensure your business looks consistent, targeted, and relevant. Contact us today at digitallagoon.com. digitallagoon.com. That's digitallagoon.com. Let's make your brand shine.
The quest for the Kelly Cup continues. Your Kansas City Mavericks are charging into round 2 of the playoffs to take on the Tahoe Night Monsters. Game 1 this Sunday night at 4:05 p.m. Game 2 Monday night at 7:05 p.m., both at Cable Dahmer Arena. Playoff hockey is the fastest, hardest-hitting action in sports, and nothing beats the live atmosphere. If needed, Games 6 and 7 are back on home ice May 13th and 14th. Grab your seats now at kcmavericks.com/tickets or call 816-252-7825. Let's go Mavs.
1 minute.
Chevrolet and Liberty. I want to personally invite you to shop with us for your next Chevy car or truck. We're locally owned and operated and invested in the Kansas City community. We're the only Chevrolet dealer who offers no hassle, one price, no nonsense deals. The price you see is the price you pay. Come visit us in person or do it all online at heartlandchevrolet.com, and we'll deliver the vehicle to you in the convenience of your own home. Heartland Chevrolet, where nice people buy from nice people.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including the racing action.
Now one car in the wall is Christopher Bell, hits it hard. Now another collision. Turn number 2, it is Josh Berry, slides up against the outside wall. McDowell loses it, big time. The field coming right at him. McDowell tries to hold on to the race car. Everybody scrambles to get out of the way.
It's the Worth 400 from Texas Motor Speedway, Sunday, May 4th at 1:30.
Your home for NASCAR coverage live is ESPN 1510, Kansas City.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Eye Midwest Lightning Sprints. Joining us now is the president of Kansas Speedway, Pat Warren. Pat, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you guys this morning?
Hey, we're doing great. Still thinking, Chase Briscoe gave your pace car quite a workout the other day out there at the Speedway.
Yeah, he joked when he was giving rides to a soldier that had a reenlistment ceremony that he was a little worried about the right front giving out, or he would have gone faster. So I think he did a good job.
Boy, you're excited about as a year ago, we had the closest finish in the history of NASCAR. 1/1000th of a second. Kyle Larson beat Chris Buescher at the line. That it's been a year since that occurred, Pat, but I'm still pretty excited about that finish.
Well, we're just a cookie cutter track, guys. It's the racing at Kansas isn't that great, and it's all PR and hype. So I'm joking, obviously.
That is not hype.
We've had the best racing in the series for the last several years. It's phenomenal.
I think Kansas Speedway is one of the best 1.5-mile racetracks on the circuit.
The best.
Would you agree with that?
I would not say one of the best. I would say the best.
Absolutely.
And when that's with all respect to my peers and colleagues who are managing other facilities like ours. But the closest thing to us is probably Miami, because they also have the variable banking. But the combination of the repave we did in 2011 and the current car, it's the match is perfect. Now that can change. We get a new car. We change something with the car, but right now you're not going to find a better place on the planet for stock car racing than Kansas Speedway.
And that's the thing. As close a finish as that was a year ago, the whole race was great from start to finish. We had slide jobs and back and forth. And, of course, the fall race is great. I mean, we've not seen a bad race at Kansas Speedway with this new car since they debuted it.
Yeah, and, not only is the racing great and the finish great, but, you've got changes for the lead. It's not a follow the leader thing. It's not a guy can get out in front and dominate the race. I mean, it really is. If you're a race fan, there's no better place to go than Kansas Speedway right now to watch a race. And that's not something in the past. I couldn't honestly say that. I could talk about the competition and the greatest drivers on the planet being out there and everything else. But now the track, the car, and the drivers are producing for the fans the best product you can have.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's delivered the goods. Well, you've got 3 series out here. You've got the NASCAR Cup Series, the Advent Health 400 on Sunday, and on Saturday, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will be in action under the lights, and you got a new name for that race, the Heart of Health race. Let's talk about that on Saturday out at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, we've got a great partner in Advent Health. They want to recognize healthcare heroes. Obviously, people in healthcare did a lot for us during the pandemic and other times, but they do things for us, every day. Anytime anybody has a problem in their life and you end up in the hospital, you realize how important it is. Especially, and the thing that they're focusing on Saturday is nurses. And I remember when I had open heart surgery in 2011. I had a great surgeon, Fred Seligson, did a great job for me at Menorah Medical Center. But it was the nurses in the ICU that get you through. And they do a phenomenal job because they're the ones who are taking care of the patients. The doctors are in and out. Again, not being critical of doctors, it's just the way they split up the work. But the nurses are the ones who take care of the patients. And we're really recognizing nurses and what they do, and I think that's great.
I didn't realize that you had open heart surgery, Pat.
Yeah, both Jeff and I have had the same surgery for the same valve in the heart, the mitral valve. People call it a heart murmur. It's a leaking valve, and we joke that there's some kind of chemical in the president's office that causes it.
Hey, Chris Yant says, build a dirt track out there.
Well, we've got a pretty good dirt track in Kansas City, Kansas called Lakeside Speedway.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just right up the road, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I was getting back this truck race. The Heart of Healthcare 200 is what that race is called. So, Advent Health, they've been really good out here for the last number of years now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and they're really trying to make an impact in Kansas City. They've got, I think it's now 3 or 4 hospitals in the city. They have what used to be called Shawnee Mission Hospital. They've got a hospital near where I live that's at about 159th and Metcalf in the Blue Hawk development. They're building one at about 87th and 435, and I think they have another facility on Prairie Star Parkway on K7, and so they're really expanding. They've got a partnership with Mayo. They're really a great partner.
Then Friday night, you got the ARCA Menards race under the lights on Friday night, the Tide 150. The ARCA, you're going to have them here twice this year, right? In September as well.
Yeah, since Chicagoland Speedway went sort of dormant for us during the pandemic, we've raced 2 ARCA races every year, and I think we'll probably continue to do that unless ARCA finds another intermediate track that they can run at. Ron Drager's told me those drivers really appreciate the experience that they get running at a track like ours, and so I think we've got 2 ARCA races in our future, again, at least until they find another 1.5 mile to run at, and I don't see that happening in the near future.
And 2 truck races as well. They're coming back in the fall, right?
No, we just got Xfinity in the fall this year.
Oh, okay.
So last year we had all 4 series, but this year we've just got ARCA, Xfinity, and Cup, which is sort of our traditional fall weekend.
Gotcha.
With the ARCA race. I would say our traditional fall weekend has been Xfinity and Cup. Since the pandemic, it's been ARCA, Xfinity, and Cup, and then we've had truck on and off, sort of depending on what the truck series schedule needed.
What do you say you have to go up against Lakeside? What is that all about?
Well, I guess I don't look at us as going up against Lakeside. I look at Lakeside as a companion. We both offer great racing to fans.
Right. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, when we schedule against each other, but frankly, that's to Lakeside's benefit. They're doing it because there are, tens of thousands of race fans in town. And so people who want to watch dirt racing are going to go there. If they want to watch either ARCA or truck, they're going to come to our place. But I don't really see us hurting each other, frankly. From my perspective, we're bringing fans to town to help Lakeside, and Lakeside's running throughout the year to help us.
Yeah, it's kind of like businesses on the same corner. You know, even though you might be somewhat competing, you're still bringing in lots of people to one area. Isn't that?
That's right. And from a strategy term, some people call it co-opetition.
Yeah.
Instead of competition, you know, it's really more of two businesses offering a similar product that fans may choose to go to one or the other at different times, but we're helping each other out.
What are some of the things?
At least I hope that's how it is. We're not trying to hurt them. I can say that.
That's right. What are some of the things fans can look forward to aside from the racing that they'll be watching on the track?
You know, we're doing quite a bit throughout the weekend. One of the fun things we're going to do on Sunday is we're giving out 5,000 heart-shaped little checkered flag pins to the moms who are coming to the race.
Right.
We've got a Kansas-based business that's going to be out there with Kansas-grown flowers to make bouquets for Mom. We're going to have a neat concert. It's called the Back Road Concert Series with a group called Midnight Rodeo for our campers post-race on Saturday night. We'll have stuff going on the Fan Walk Sunday. You know, we've got driver Q&As all weekend. Ross Chastain is going to be in the Highline District, you know, that new area in Turn 1 on Saturday. We've got Kyle Busch and John Hunter Nemechek doing Q&As on the pre-race stage Sunday morning from the main stage. So it's really a packed weekend. And as you guys know, there's no sport that offers fans better access than NASCAR. We really try hard to give our fans the best access in all professional sports.
You still have the red carpet there down before the race?
Yeah, and the plan is weather dependent, but right now the weather looks phenomenal for Sunday. When I looked last night, 78 and sunny. The plan is to have the drivers meeting in Fan Walk and that behind the media center, which fans love because it really gives them an opportunity to see the stars of the sport. And I didn't realize this until last year, but the only two tracks in the country that offer fans an opportunity to see the drivers meeting are us and Las Vegas.
Really?
And it's Vegas with the Neon Garage and what we do with the tent. And Elton Sawyer, you know, who manages competition for the Cup Series, he speaks every year at the drivers meeting right after I do, and thought it was great. And so we had gone away from it. Again, another one of these pandemic changes. We'd gone away from the drivers meeting entirely, and then it came back, and we're doing it now. But we've moved it inside the media center, and now we've moved it back out, and I think it's something the fans love. So
the area is right in the Fan Walk area, and of course when the track was designed, when it was first built, this Kansas Speedway was at the forefront of fan access, just the way you design everything in the infield.
Yeah, and one of the tweaks we've made to Fan Walk is we now open up the area. It's roughly the first 10 cars of the Cup Series garage, and we open it up and bike rack it on Sunday morning. So you get fans who are in Fan Walk get effectively a garage pass. They can't walk around like fans who have a garage pass. We can't open it up to that many people. But I would call it equivalent to what the Chiefs do with a field pass for pregame. Where you've got people in a specific area and you get to go down on the field, in our case in the garage, and see everything that's happening down there. It's a really unique experience.
All right, fans don't already have tickets. They think about coming out there. How do they do it?
866-460-RACE. Go to our website, kansasspeedway.com. If you've never been out, I would call and talk to one of our agents who can help you sort of curate the experience and be sure you have a great time. If you know what you want, go to the website and everything will be easy for you there. But we'd love to have people. We do have tickets remaining. We'll have a good crowd, but I don't anticipate a sellout right now. So hopefully people can make it out.
And parking is free all weekend.
Parking is free. We do sell some premium parking, but you always have the opportunity to park for free at Kansas Speedway. And you can bring in your own food and drink.
Pat, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us here on Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We can't thank you enough for doing so.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you next weekend. I
Hey,
think
you
you'll be
bet.
out there, I hope.
Yes, it looks like a great weather weekend. I'm liking that part about it, and thank you very much. We'll see you next weekend.
All of us will be out there.
All right, great. I'll see you guys next weekend. Have a great this weekend. Looks like the weather's it's going to be dry. It's a little bit cool, and get a little bit of relaxation in now because next weekend we're going to be busy.
Absolutely.
I'm going to Knoxville this weekend.
All right.
See you next weekend. Thanks, Pat.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There he is, president of Kansas Speedway, Pat Warren, joining us. Have we made our picks for Texas yet?
Nope, we didn't. We got to make those real quick because we only got a couple minutes left here. So
who do you think, Tom?
I think I'm going to go with. I hate doing it, but Busch is still on my mind for some reason. So
he's won a lot at Texas.
Yes,
Motor
sir.
Speedway.
So I'm going to go with Busch, and then my backup is going to be Elliott.
I'm going to say Ryan Blaney. I'm going to pick Ryan Blaney till he wins.
How about you, Scott?
I'm going to pick Ryan Blaney as well.
All right, there we go.
And my backup is William Byron. So there you go.
All right, well, we got hour 2 coming up next.
Yeah, we'll hear from Ashton Torgerson.
Hour number 2, you can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, and RacingBoys.com.
Chase Briscoe also coming up, hour 2 exclusively on Racing Boys.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We can't thank you enough for doing so. Hour number 2, watch it on Facebook, YouTube, and RacingBoys.com. We'll see you in hour number 2 coming up next.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Tax refund season means
Thanks, man.
ride
Appreciate
season,
that.
and now's the time to make it happen at Reno's Power Sports Case.
No problem. You guys are going to Kansas Speedway and you're not even telling me about it.
What's that?
Dude, said you guys are going to Kansas Speedway and you didn't even invite me. That's bunk.
We'll get you in. I can get you in.
I live right down the street from the Speedway.
Oh, so do I, my man. I'm out in Piper, so.
Oh, okay.
Rock and roll, man. I'll get with you next Saturday. We'll get you out there, brother.
All right, man.
Have a good week.
You too, man.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. coming into this animal. We're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. It's nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will. Maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the TikTok sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, and then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king size bedroom with washer dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come and see me, Kyle Walker.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in an on-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guide. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Track Talk right here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Kirk, they got the cars up at Manzanita.
At the Hall of Fame.
Right.
They do. They've switched out the display at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum for the salute to Manzanita Speedway that began on Thursday, May 1st. It was open, so If you were up there at the Hall of Fame last week, of course you didn't see it, but that's another reason to go to the races tonight at Knoxville, so you can see the Manzanita Speedway display for the first time.
Right.
That's what you want to do before the races tonight. And it's open until October the 1st. They got a lot of cars in there from the Manzanita Speedway days. This track was a big half-mile racetrack located right in the city of Phoenix, Arizona. And when did they take that track out? About 08, 09, somewhere in there?
08,
20,
09.
Sure. But it's been gone a while now. I never saw a race there.
I never either.
I saw the track before they tore it down.
I went to the racetrack right before they tore it down.
I did too.
Yep.
Might have been with you during that. I don't know. But I remember going in there taking a look at the racetrack before they tore it down.
Right.
So a lot of history at Manzanita Speedway. That was the original site of the Western World Championships, and since Manzanita, they moved it around to a lot of different tracks. Jesse Hockett won the last sanctioned series event at Manzanita Speedway ever. And so a lot of big names that's raced there over the years. They've got a lot of cars on display at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame until October the 1st, and the Salute to Manzanita Speedway is now open. Of course, we want to tell you about the Corvette that they're going to give away again this year. It's a beautiful competition yellow Corvette. It is a powerful machine, 1,064 horsepower. It's a ZR1 with the ZTK performance package. You get $30,000 cash if you be the grand prize winner. You can get registered by going to winacorvette.org. And the last day you can enter is the last day of the Knoxville Nationals. They'll draw for it a week after that. And this Corvette is it's a beauty. They don't have it on display yet. Hopefully they'll get it up there sometime this summer so we can see it in the window at the Hall of Fame. That'd be cool. But you can win that
The
Corvette.
car is not there yet.
It's not there yet.
Right.
So
they're waiting on the wing. The parts for the remember Bob told us they can't get the wing built yet because they're waiting for some parts. So there's that photo for the Manzanita.
The track tribute to Manzanita Speedway. That's a pretty cool thing. You see maybe some of the cars that might be on display up there, or is that just some of the...
Yeah, that's what this is, the actual post from Sprint Car Hall of Fame. So Billy Boat, Bobby Jones, Russell,
Bobby Jones,
Ron Shannon, or Schumann. Sorry,
Ron Schumann. He was a big
and Jesse Hockett
name
car,
there.
the number 2 car there at the top. So
Ron Schumann, Billy Boat, Leland McSpadden were some of the big names at the old Manzanita Speedway. So yeah, I can't wait to take a look at that. You say you're going to head up there tonight?
I think so.
So you can give us a report on Monday's show, what it looks like.
Right.
So anyway, if you also are at the Hall of Fame, check out all the items in the gift shop. If you want to see what they have in the gift shop, go to sprintcarstuff.com. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum, open 7 days a week. So what did you think about the races up there last Saturday? They had to speed this thing through to get it in before the rain last week, right? But they got it in.
They're going to have as many as 20 cars up there on display.
Yeah, so they've already made the move. I talking with Bill Wright up there a couple of weeks ago. He said that's going to be a big job, but they had it all kind of pre-staged in the other building, and they moved it across, and so it is open right now.
You know, my favorite spot to stand is on the second floor of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And the second floor extended to the Dennis Allbaugh Suite Tower, too. So, I noticed that's the difference between the Dennis Allbaugh Suite Tower and the Brian Clausen Suite Tower. The Brian Clausen Suite Tower has the observation deck up on top, but no second floor.
Right.
On the other hand, the Dennis Allbaugh Suite Tower has the second floor, but no observation tower on the front. So there's a trade-off there.
Because of the power lines.
Yeah. And they had to reinstall the Nationals display, the Levitt family Knoxville Nationals display, and that's all on the building now, where
Kirk,
you can go up and look at see who all won the Knoxville Nationals.
The Hall of Fame, the Dennis Allball Tower, is really close to the sidewalk.
It is. I didn't think they'd be able to fit a building there.
Right.
Did you?
I didn't either.
And neither did Dennis Allball till they had the plans. But they had to get some things done through the city and change ordinances and so forth, moving the
water
transformer and water lines and that sort of thing to make that all happen. But they got it done. And you knew that they wouldn't have any issues with the city of Knoxville to get all the permits necessary to make that happen. That was a no-brainer.
The city was all on board with it.
Oh yeah,
yep.
As you'd expect they would be. You want to hear the Chase Briscoe interview?
Yep.
Right now, Chase Briscoe was in town on Wednesday and took a ride around Kansas Speedway in that Toyota Pace car. But Chase Briscoe went from a Ford to a Toyota. He's now a driver for Joe Gibbs Racing in the 19 car. He replaced Martin Truex Jr. in that 19 car. And the first question I asked Chase Briscoe is how he assess his first season with Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah, it's been up and down, truthfully. We've had some good finishes. We've had some bad races as well. It's been more of a learning curve than I would say I anticipated going into it. I figured it would drive relatively the same as what I'm used to at Stewart-Haas, just with the next gen car. They're all the same, right? But it's been very eye-opening just how different the setups are, and even the motors between manufacturers feel different. So it's been eye-opening from that standpoint. It's been a little bit more of a learning curve than I would have liked, but I think the encouraging thing for me is we've had 3 or 4 top fives. We've had some really strong races, and I don't even feel like we're even close to our full potential. So just knowing how much better we can be and how competitive we still are is encouraging for me for sure.
What are some of the things you think you need to improve upon?
Yeah, I think for me, just trying to understand how different this car drives. The setups are so vastly different than what I'm used to. So everything I've felt for the last 4 years, I've been feeling one certain thing in the race car and looking for a certain feel, and now how their car feels is just totally different. So it's honestly kind of retraining my brain of, hey, like, you need to be looking for this now and not feel this. If you feel this is wrong or this is right. So just trying to get those reps, and that's hard when you don't go to the same style of racetrack every week. So I'm excited for the next couple weeks. It'll be a lot of 1.5 mile racetracks. I feel like that's where I need the most help right now, just trying to understand the setup differences. So I definitely feel like I'm a couple weeks away, but it's been way different than I anticipated.
How much you been leaning on your teammates? Christopher Bell's had 3 straight wins. Denny, 2 straight wins. How much do you learn from those guys?
Yeah, a lot. It's definitely been, that's the good thing, I guess, and the bad thing about being at Joe Gibbs Racing, right, is, the cars are capable of winning because your teammates are out doing it, but it's frustrating at the same time because you know that they have the same stuff as you. So, yeah, it's been nice, for me to be able to, just work with those guys. Obviously, I've raced against Denny from afar, didn't really know behind the scenes how he approached stuff, and he's definitely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You can see that in his approach week in and week out. And then with Christopher, I've known Christopher for 15-something years, racing sprint cars. So it's nice to have that, familiar face and somebody that I know that I can go and bounce ideas off of. And I've never had a teammate in my entire career that grew up sprint car racing like I did. So it's nice to be able to go to him and talk about things that I'm feeling and just have that same lingo, right? A lot of the sprint car guys kind of have a certain feel they look for, and just our lingo is different. So it's been nice to have that in Christopher.
Christopher's been out there driving a sprint car. He's going to be out there this weekend. Are you going to drive some sprint car races?
Yeah, I ran 20 or so last year. I think I'm retired for the time being. We just had twins, 6 months ago, and having 3 kids under 3, it's hard to kind of leave the house at times and leave my wife alone. And then plus with the new opportunity at Joe Gibbs Racing, I just really want to focus on that. Like I said, I don't even feel like I'm 100% on the Cup side yet. So until I get fully integrated, fully feel like my feet are underneath me, I'm going to take a back seat from the sprint car stuff. Still have the race team, still trying to figure out how to get it out there with other drivers. But as far as me behind the wheel, I'm taking a little partial retirement.
You're here at Kansas Speedway. Homestead is a track that I would compare probably here to Kansas Speedway. He had a great finish at Homestead. How much could you take from there to here?
Yeah, Homestead definitely has some similarities just in the sense of, the line you run on the fence at both of them. Homestead was definitely, I feel like, probably our strongest race of the year from a speed standpoint. So yeah, hopefully we can, take some things from there. I think that was our last mile and a half race we've ran too. So yeah, I feel good about coming here. The Joe Gibbs racing cars and Toyotas in general have been extremely strong here. And this is a place that I've struggled in my Cup career. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to kind of a new direction as far as setup and things like that. And hopefully, that'll be the difference for me.
Fair to say that Kansas Speedway suits these next-gen cars about as well as any of them?
Yeah, this is like the ultimate racetrack for next-gen cars. I don't know what it is about the car in this track, but it just produces incredible racing. And it's a track where you can run literally all over the racetrack. You're 3-4 wide on restarts. It's fast. You can run around on the fence. You have a little bit of tire wear. It's just turned into this great racetrack for the next gen cars. So it's always fun when we come here.
Before you come back here next week, you're going to Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. How do you see that?
Yeah, I feel good about Texas. It's not my favorite racetrack by any means, but statistically, it's been my best track in the Cup Series. I think average finish is like 6th or 7th there. So it's been a really, really good racetrack for me statistically, and it's another track where the Joe Gibbs racing cars have been really, really strong. So yeah, looking forward to going down there. I feel like we can go there and be in the mix all day long. So that's what we're trying to do, and hopefully bring some momentum into Kansas.
What was your takeaway from Talladega last week?
Yeah, the super speedway racing is kind of frustrating, to be honest with you. It's like being on the interstate and bumper to bumper traffic, but trying to save fuel while you do it. It's it's definitely for us at least, the execution just didn't work out. Not only from our team, but just at Toyota side in general. Ross kind of broke up all of our momentum, and it just kind of buried us once we all started running hard. So yeah, the Talladega deal was frustrating, but that's super speedway racing.
That is Chase Briscoe on Wednesday out of Kansas Speedway. Spoke to him right out there on pit road before I got in with him to ride around the racetrack. We told you about how thrilling a ride that was in that Toyota pace car.
You could hear the birds chirping in the background, Kirk. How about that?
It was a beautiful morning.
A beautiful day out there at the racetrack.
Kansas Speed. He brought up Ross Chastain. He was in town on Thursday, and Ross played a big role in keeping Toyota from winning at Talladega.
Sure did.
If you heard about that, Toyota all came into pit together, all the Toyota teams. And before that, they were all running up front. And it looked like, hey, this is going to be a day for Toyota. So after all the Toyota cars came into pit, and then they came back out on the racetrack, Ross Chastain moved up and broke their line. They were going to make a big freight train run to the front on the outside, but Ross Chastain moved up right in front of him and killed him, and they all finished outside the top 10. That was a big moment in the race, and that opened the door for Austin Cindric and Ford to win that race.
You know what Chase Briscoe said? This is a huge sprint car town.
It is. It's always been.
It
historically.
Always has been.
You got the Welds and Ray Lee Goodwin and Tiger Bob Williams and Dick Sutcliffe and, this
Jerry Weld.
Yeah. So he's right about that. He knows his history.
Do you remember Butch?
Butch Weld?
Yep.
Jerry Weld?
Jerry Weld.
A little before my time, but I remember all the stories about.
My first race that I ever went to was to watch Jerry Weld race.
Yeah.
At Lakeside Speedway.
I watched Kenny Weld race a lot. Greg Weld. Kenny I knew better than any of them. Got very well acquainted with Kenny Weld, who won 4 Knoxville Nationals crowns.
I used to get my tires on my hot rod Mustang over at Weld Wheels, and I used to break the studs off so much on that Mustang. I had that Ford 9-inch rear end in there, guys.
Right.
And I used to break the studs off on there, and I'd take him in there, and the guy would show. And finally, he said, "Let me just show you how to do this at home," because he knew that I was going to be back a lot. So it was a nice tip from the guys over there, and they showed me how to put their own studs in the back of the wheels. But I used to go buy my Mickey Thompson super sticky street tires. They had these tires that were legal on the street, but man, when you got them hot, they'd get that nice gum on it.
Right.
But if the police pulled you over and checked it, it had enough tread and everything on to where you didn't get in trouble, you know. So those tires tore my car. My car actually tore in half with those tires,
You
guys.
still have that car, don't
Well,
you?
not this is my new Mustang. I'm talking about my original 82 that I had. I had T-tops in it, and those tires, I had a Ford narrowed 9-inch rear end, guys, in that car. And, man, that thing, I took it out and raced it a few drag places and finally tore a big hole in the body from where the torque in the car was twisting the car apart, just twisting the car completely apart. And thanks to Mickey.
So this was the car before
my
your
82.
new one.
Yeah. And I used to go to Weld Tire and Wheel.
That was when they were located down closer to not at the location that they ended up being.
No, they had
down
one
on Truman Road.
Well, they had one in Shawnee too back in the day because that was as close as I could get with my hot rod. I have no way I could drive my hot rod all the way over there to Truman Road. So
the original Weld Wheels was on Truman Road.
yeah,
it was.
And then they had one on Shawnee Mission Parkway, I believe, and probably this would have been in the '80s, late '80s. And like you said, I was over there many times buying my tires from Weld Tire and Wheel over there, and they were good guys, man. It was always fixture in Kansas City, man. They're even before I knew anything about sprint car racing, you knew Weld name. Everybody knew the Weld name. You know what I'm saying? It was
right.
It was fixture in KC.
And sprint car racing, not only the Weld wheels, but sprint car racing, big reason why.
Absolutely.
Just to finish up on Talladega, you know, we all thought that Penske was going to come out of Talladega pretty well, but I don't think any of us picked Austin Cindric to win the race.
And that's what we talked about. It could have been a crapshoot. There's that's the race that you could just throw a dart at, right? And
Blaney got caught up again for something he didn't cause.
First stage,
Right.
guys.
Yeah.
I was sitting there watching the race, and I come back. I went and got something to eat. I come back to watch stage 2, and guess what happened? Blaney was already out of the race. He was already out of the race.
And then Joey Logano ended up being disqualified.
How about that?
After finishing 5th, and Ryan Preece, who we thought finished 2nd, also DQ'd for spoiler violations.
Yeah, I knew none of that until Kirk told me. And he said, "Did you see everybody getting out?" I said, "No, I absolutely didn't." You can get all those stories on our homepage. We got those there on our racingboys.com. But
I guess the good thing about that is Ryan Preece wasn't the winner, or they'd had to DQ the winner.
yeah, that wouldn't have looked good, would it?
That wouldn't look good. So anyway, Austin Cindric is the winner at Talladega, and that is his 3rd career win. You remember last year he won at St. Louis at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, and his only other career win was in his first season as a rookie, the Daytona 500. Those are the 3 Austin Cindric career wins. So
I want to give a shout out to Trisha Green. She says, "Good morning, fellas."
Good morning to everybody. So we had enough NASCAR. You ready to talk some sprint car racing again?
Absolutely, because we got a whole week of NASCAR next week, so let's get it.
Ashton Torgerson has been the real topic of discussion here over the last week. To tell you the story, Jacob Allen stepped out of the 1A car. He retired from driving a car. He's still involved with the car, but he retired from driving the car, which meant they had to go out and hire a driver. Well, they hired Cale Thomas for 3 races, and he tore up a lot of equipment, and so they fired Cale after 3 races.
After 3 races.
Yeah. And
were you surprised after 3 races?
Yeah, everybody was surprised.
Right.
That you'd fire a driver after 3 races, but their explanation was that Cale tore up a lot of stuff. And they, it looked, the comment that I referred to that Jacob Allen made was it looked like Cale was going to wreck on every lap. And, of course, his dad is Bobby Allen, the 81-year-old legendary racer, and I'm sure, he didn't want his dad having a heart attack every lap watching somebody drive around the racetrack. So they let Cale Thomas go after tearing up a ton of equipment, and they just almost equally as surprising, the person they hired to replace Cale Thomas was young Ashton Torgerson, originally from Oregon by way of Arizona, who had never even been to the state of Pennsylvania. They hired Ashton Torgerson. As you remember, Ashton was involved in that horrific, and I know, Scott, you feel the same way I do. I was as horrified as I've ever been at the Chili Bowl. That was somebody getting ejected from a race car when his seatbelt wasn't firmly attached before
Kirk,
he went out.
That was the scariest moment.
Scariest thing I've ever seen.
Ever seen down there at the Chili Bowl.
And he survived that. And a matter of fact, 3 days after that, he walks back in the Expo Center at Tulsa, conducts a press conference, and then before the races that night, here is Ashton Torgerson, and we're so happy he's still with us. And it was a great moment after such a horrific thing. And, you know, Rico Abreu was close to Ashton Torgerson. He ended up winning that preliminary race that night. And what Rico Abreu did, I'll never forget. He got close to Ashton Torgerson and was kind of helping him, mentoring him a little bit. And I'll always remember that, the way Rico treated that whole thing after he won the race. But Ashton Torgerson came back the next year and won a feature in the Tulsa Shootout. And he's continued at the Chili Bowl. And last year he was a full-time midget driver.
What feature was that, Kirk?
I'm trying to remember what class that was he won a year ago. Not this past January, but a year ago in the Tulsa Shootout. So he comes back and gets a Golden Driller in the Tulsa Shootout. And he comes back and continues to race at the Chili Bowl. And last year he had a full-time ride in the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series.
Right.
But he'd had limited experience in a wing sprint car. He raced some in the 360 sprint car, won a couple of races, but less than 25 starts in a 410 wing sprint car before he was hired by the Allens to race the 1A car. And his first night out at Port Royal Speedway last Saturday night in the Keith Kaufman Classic. And you know as well as anybody that Port Royal Speedway, that's a hard track to master.
It is.
Because, it's slick from top to bottom. And so I thought he did good just making the A main, and he got it to the end with a 20th place finish. The next night, last Sunday, he goes to another track he'd never seen before, Baps Motor Speedway, and he wins the feature event against 43 of the best of the Pennsylvania posse can deliver. There's only a couple of guys that I can recall that weren't there. The Kreitz 69 car wasn't there. Ryan Smith had won in that car at the Kaufman Classic the night before, but most everybody else was there. I mean, you had Danny Dietrich. He came from 14th to, when you start that far back, you're going to have a hard time. But Anthony Macri was in the field. You had Chase Dietz. You had all these, great PA drivers, and he beat them all last Sunday night.
Ashton Torgerson is 116th in the World of Outlaw points.
Well, he's just run one race.
Right.
Last night was his first World of Outlaw race at Williams Grove Speedway. And I'm sorry, at Eldora Speedway.
Eldora.
First ever World of Outlaws race at Eldora Speedway last night.
He had some problems last night as well.
We had a fast race car. He qualified well. He finished second in his heat race, which he made the dash, and he draws the number one. He's on the pole for the dash and racing with David Gravel for the lead when the engine blows up. So they come in, they replace the engine on the car, but they get him out late in order to get his 8th place starting spot. He gets penalized a row for not making the line. Well, they couldn't get the car. They couldn't get the car fired.
He ended up having to go to the rear.
Yeah, because they when they first tried to push him off, the car wouldn't fire. So he came back in. They changed something with the magneto on it. They got him pushed off, but he had to start at the back. So he gets all the, I'm sure that Jacob Allen was telling him, hey, just bring it home in one piece. Well, he did that. He finished 20th and did a good job. But he was fast at Eldora Speedway at a track he'd never seen before last night. Well, last Monday, the day after he won the race at Baps Motor Speedway, we had Ashton Torgerson on our show, Mostly Motorsports. And here is that conversation.
Big win this weekend in the 1A car.
Yeah, it's a super big win, and obviously, super stoked to have the opportunity and to perform like that.
All right, let's step back here a little bit and start from the beginning. How did this all come together with you, with Jacob Allen, Bobby Allen, the 1A car? How did this all happen?
Yeah, we had talked earlier a couple weeks ago, and we had talked about running some races together and trying to work together, and they had put Kale in the car, and things didn't go right with them, and so then after that, we got back to each other more, and finally could make a deal there to hop in the 1A car for this weekend and at the Port Royal and BAPS.
Is that your first win at BAPS?
This call will be recorded.
Hello?
What was that?
That's your first time you've ever been to BAPS Motor Speedway, right?
Yeah, correct. That's my first time to Pennsylvania.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, think about it. You go to Port Royal. First of all, Williams Grove gets rained out on Friday night, so you're not able to go there. But Port Royal Speedway on Saturday night, that is about as tricky. That is a hard track to learn, Port Royal Speedway. So you go there. And what are your thoughts about Port Royal Speedway? You made the A main, which I think that's a great night in your first trip to Port Royal Speedway. What are your thoughts about that racetrack and trying to learn Port Royal Speedway?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, just making that main was huge for me, and I was able to get the track time to try and learn as much as I could. With Williams Grove raining out Friday, we were kind of hoping Williams Grove would go so I could have some more big track experience, because where I race in California, we don't have those big half miles like that. So Port Royal is something I've never ran on with no 410. I don't have much 410 experience, but really no big track experience at all. So heading into Port Royal, I kind of came in blind and didn't know what to expect or how to really how to handle Port Royal. So, like you said, we're good in Port Royal, and all night we're pretty fast. And then, like you said, making that feature is just huge. And I felt like I still got a lot to learn there at Port, but I also learned a lot.
You had a pretty big lead at one point. You were 2.5 seconds ahead of everybody else. Talk about that a little bit.
At BAPS last night.
Yeah. I mean, BAPS was good all night. We went quick time in our group and I think stayed fourth in the heat, which would put us in the redraw. And we ended up drawing the 4. And I knew I was good early on, with qualifying and stuff and timing in good. But there in the heat race, I kind of made quite a bit of mistakes and knew I had to get going there. And so in the main, starting fourth, I told myself I got to get going. So anyways, we went to on the start. I was kept getting good starts, and we had like three or four starts, but I kept getting good starts and was able to go into turns 1 and 2 on the start and be about third or second, and then was able to kind of run down the leader once I got to second, and was able to slide him. And then once I slid him, I had clean air. I just felt good, felt comfortable, and kind of just ran my race and set the pace I wanted to, and tried to never look back from there.
I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. I'm sure you're trying to. Have you realized what you did I mean, we're talking 43 race cars at BAPS Motor Speedway. This is the Pennsylvania posse you went up against. Some of the best drivers out of Pennsylvania. We're talking Chase Dietz, Danny Dietrich, Lance DeWeese, Anthony Macri, Troy Wagaman Jr., Brock Zierfoss. These are the guys you beat last night. Have you come to a realization what you accomplished last night? Because to me, this is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%. This is incredible, and like you said, it's a big thing. PA Posse, it's no joke out there. all the competition, it's strong out there. So being able to race with those guys and beat them, that's super good for me. And like you said, it's incredible to go out there to Pennsylvania for my first time and second night in the car and be able to win. It's still hard to believe, and I'm still taking it in as we speak.
What did Jacob and Bobby, what did they tell you when you strapped into the race car at these racetracks last night? I'm sure they were saying, okay, what were some of the things they were telling you when you before you strapped in the car?
Yeah, well, before, when I showed up and we got the seat mounted and everything, me, Bobby, and Jacob, we're all just talking, and we're just thinking, let's have a good weekend and try our best, and let's just learn. So they just kept telling me, trying to help me out with the big track stuff and what I needed to do. And, also with the new team where, me and Jacob are trying to figure each other out for, setup wise or, what I like and what he does to the car and everything. But, we're just talking to each other, trying to get comfortable with each other. And, I'm just trying to get comfortable in the car. But, it's crazy to come out there, like I said, to PA and be able to win it.
Obviously, there's something similar to your driving style that Jacob has, the setup of the car and so forth, to be that right. I mean, was it the track, just everything you felt comfortable, obviously, right from the get-go last night?
Yeah, last night, like I said, I was comfortable, all night, and me and Jacob were talking all weekend, honestly, and Jacob was telling me, he kind of thinks I drive like how he would drive, and Logan and a couple of guys like that, and so he said he felt like he already knew what to do. Just seeing how I drive, he said I drove smart and clean and used my head, and so he just he kind of told me he knew what to expect for that night and kind of knew what to do, and so that's kind of goes back to being comfortable. Me and him, I feel like we're pretty comfortable already, but it's just really good.
The track was a little dusty last night. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, dust. All those cars on the track, the dust definitely got a little bad. And in lap traffic, I'd say there's some times where it got really dusty, but kind of having clean air and going through lap traffic, I feel like it wasn't too bad. Enough to mess me up or anything. I think that's just as a driver, you just try not to worry about those things and kind of just keep going.
You just have to deal with it, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. We're all on the same track. We're all on same surface, and we all have the same dust problem or whatever. But we all got to push through it and keep doing our race.
So before this weekend, you've never been to the state of Pennsylvania. You'd never seen this racetrack. You looked like a veteran going around that track last night. What was that? What were you thinking as you sliced your way through the lap traffic last night?
Well, I appreciate that. I, like I said, I got a lot to learn still, and definitely learned a lot out there in PA. But yeah, like you said, I haven't been to PA. Handful of 410 starts, 20-ish to 25 starts, and come out here to PA, and we make the main for Port Royal, and then able to win the second night. It's just insane. And so going through lap traffic and everything as a driver, I know I have a lead, but I don't know how far second is or if he's close to me or not. So in my mind, I just got to be clean, be smart, and try and pick off lap traffic as quick as I can. But at the same time, you got to make sure I don't wreck myself to end the race.
I know you're running a Triple X chassis. Talk about those cars a little bit.
Yeah, so in the 410 races that I have done has been in a Triple X, and so I feel like that definitely helps me too. I was already comfortable with the chassis, and like I said, Jacob, he's ran that chassis, and he knows what it feels like, and so from a driver point of view, he knows what that feels like, and he knows what the setup's going to do to the Triple X chassis. So it's just good to have Jacob helping me out with driving and setting up the car.
Hey, you had a big problem with that lap traffic. That lap traffic was a little pain in the butt, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, like you said, you got to be smart. So the lap traffic, I was trying to pick them off as fast as I could, and I think some moves I made, I probably should have got around them quicker, or made some different moves. But with lap traffic, you just never know, and you never know where they're going to go, and so you got to be smart and watch what you're doing.
Okay, I'm interested to know, what was the reaction? What's the first thing that Scruffy, Bobby Allen, what's he, 81 now, and Jacob said to you when you pulled the car down there? What was their reaction?
Yeah, they were super stoked, Jacob and Bobby. They're telling me that I drove a great race, and just looked like a professional out there. And so they were super stoked all night long. And once we got back to the trailer, we were just talking about how the race went and how we thought, how good we were. And also we showed that with the result.
All right, so this was supposed to be just for this weekend. We'll see how it goes. What is, obviously, if you win a race, I gotta think there's a future with Shark Racing and the 1A car. What's in the future here with this ride?
Yeah, well, like you said, it's I think it was kind of just go by that weekend and see how we do, and talk after that. And it sounds like Bobby Allen has already decided to go to Eldora next weekend with the World of Outlaws. So, another weekend in that car with the World of Outlaws, and then kind of just got to play it by there.
Man, you've had you could write a book, Ashton, of everything that's happened to you here over the last couple of years. It would make a great movie. I will say that. What happened at the Chili Bowl and everything since. What's your family say about everything that's gone on here?
Well, my family is my biggest supporters, so they support me with whatever I do, and try and help out as much as they can. And so it's just us, and really that's all it takes is a family, and they help me to get these opportunities, and like I said, they just support me, so can't thank them enough.
So Eldora Speedway this weekend. That's have you raced at Eldora ever? You've been a midget there, weren't you, or have you raced there?
I have not. No, I was I wanted to last year in the midget stuff, but just couldn't quite make it. And so I've never been to Eldora yet, so this will be my first time at Eldora and first time racing there.
So how do you like that? Ashton Torgeson's first time at Eldora was yesterday, and he qualifies as well as he did, makes the dash, races with David Gravel for the lead in the dash before the engine blows.
Right.
His first time ever at Eldora Speedway.
He did a great job.
Yeah. It's an incredible story, and you can kind of tell just listening to him there. This kid has a lot of humility. He is 18 years old. He'll turn 19 on May 24th. And I think what attracted the Allens to him was, as a young 18-year-old, he's got a lot of humility. You can tell he was raised right.
Right.
And he's got a great attitude.
He ended up running 20th last night.
Yeah. Yeah, and if he had started where he should have started, was 8th, had he not blown the engine, where would he have finished had the engine not gone? And he would have started. He might have had a chance to start on the front row, because at the time the engine went, he was racing for the lead of the dash.
Right.
So he might have finished. I would say if the engine hadn't gone last night, he would have started in the first 2 rows at least.
Kirk, we need to talk a little bit about late models. Brandon Overton, he won last night at Circle City Raceway.
That's a bull ring, isn't it?
It is.
Circle City Raceway is right in Indianapolis, and the Lucas Oil Late Model Series was there last night, and Brandon Overton led the whole way in that race.
Tyler Erb won at Mississippi Thunder Speedway last night.
Fountain City, Wisconsin, in the World of Outlaws late models. And so, I getting back to the race at Indy, that's a pretty small racetrack, isn't it? We've seen the non-wing USAC sprint cars run there. I don't think they've ever had a big late model. This track's only been open for a couple of years now in Indianapolis. But it was a big night for Brandon Overton. They call him Big Sexy. That's his nickname. And Overton wins over Devin Moran, which I thought maybe had the fastest race car last night. But there was no way he was ever going to get around Brandon Overton. Hudson O'Neal, he's starting to run a lot better. He finished in third. I'm looking at Hudson O'Neal at the Show Me 100 as being maybe one of the cars to beat the way he ran down there a couple of weeks ago in that non-sanctioned late model weekend down there. Watch out for Hudson O'Neal. I think they're starting to get it together with the SSI Motorsports. Jonathan Davenport, 8th to 4th, and Ricky Thornton Jr. started 3rd and finished 5th. So RTJ, maybe not the night he was looking for last night, even though he still finished in the top 5. But tonight they were supposed to be at Florence Speedway for the Ralph Latham Memorial, but that has been called off due to rain. So next up is Illinois Speed Week. They got a lot of races for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series coming up next week. RTJ still leads the points battle over Jonathan Davenport. Devin Moran actually is in second right now. Jonathan Davenport third, and Garrett Albertson is the 4th driver. Only the top 4 make the championship races at the end of the year. So what do you think of that World of Outlaws race up in Wisconsin? That track was in really good shape up there.
It was.
Fountain City, Wisconsin.
It was.
Big night for Tyler Erb. They call him Turbo. He led all the way in that race, didn't he?
Devin Moran ended up running second.
That was at Circle City.
Yep, Circle City.
Nick Hoffman ran second to Tyler Erb at Fountain City, and Bobby Pierce was third.
Tim McCready was 4th, and Ashton Winger was 5th.
Don't you think McCready was happy with that run? He hadn't been running all that well. They changed from a Rocket to a Longhorn.
You know that Bobby Pierce and Nick Hoffman, they had a good race going between them.
They did. They were going at it.
Yep.
So they'll be at Fountain City again tonight. They've got another race up there tonight. They call it the Dairyland Showdown. $30,000 is up for grabs tonight at Fountain City, Wisconsin.
That paid $25,000 to win last night,
and $30,000 tonight. So
Tyler
big money
Erb,
on the line up there.
Tyler Erb picked up $12,500 or $16,300.
Oh, was that what it was last night? Late model action tonight at Central Missouri Speedway. The Malvern Bank Late Model Series, West Series.
Are you going down there, Kirk?
Yeah, I'm going to head down there tonight. Check it out. It's they were supposed to open up at Butler Electric City Speedway last night, but they didn't get it in.
Maybe I'll go down there as well.
Well, I thought you were going to Knoxville.
I'm thinking about going to Knoxville. I want to see the Manzanita display.
Well, either way, I'm going to Warrensburg. We'll check out the late models tonight. Looked like they had a pretty good car count down at
Earl
Butler
would like
night.
to see me down there.
Well, I'll let you make that call.
Right.
No, I thought about, of course, Sweet Springs was supposed to be this weekend with the Power Eye midgets and the non-wing sprint cars, but the grounds are too saturated at Sweet Springs. They called that off on Thursday, both Friday and Saturday's events. So that didn't happen. But I had planned on going to Central Missouri Speedway anyway before the Sweet Springs event got called off because I didn't get down there at all last year to Central Missouri Speedway. So, I wanted to make sure I got down there. So tonight at Central Missouri Speedway for the Malvern Bank Late Model Series. And
I might change my mind and end up going down to CMS.
Well, you got a right to do that.
Right.
So anyway, we're getting geared up. We know where we're going to be next Friday night, and that's Lakeside Speedway.
Right.
And we'll be at Kansas Speedway the rest of the weekend with the NASCAR weekend coming up. And you think the weather's going to be good, Todd, next weekend?
It's May, man. I mean, right now, everything looks good, but gosh, I hate these May.
The rainouts.
It's just May.
Just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, Kansas is the rainiest part of Kansas right now. Has been the last forever. I've watched a guy talk about May has been so much more rainful. So, April normally used to be, but we're seeing a lot of rain in May now. And
I can deal with that. What I can't deal with is the hailstorms and the tornadoes.
Boy, did you see the hail last night in the Northland? It looked like snow on the road.
It did.
Some of the reports that came in, they had an inch of hail in some places. It was amazing. I saw some of our local weather guys posting pictures, and it was pretty amazing what I was looking at as far as hail totals. We had a little bit. I was out in Lansing, like I said, when the started coming down, but it was tiny, smaller than pea size. But a lot of the metro area got pretty good hail. So I know I saw somewhere up here on north. It was pretty good. So I do know there's a lot of baseball. A lot of people in town for baseball this week, Kirk. I saw a lot of kids wearing.
Did you see the 1 inch hail?
No, I know that, like you said, I saw a lot of people posting with we got big hail yesterday, but it's this time of the year, there's a lot of outdoor activities going on. You got baseball tournaments all over town. You got racing going on. It's just fingers crossed. And
it's not good in Pennsylvania right now, right?
Nah, that's what Marie said. It's already been called off up there. And
it's supposed to be at, Lincoln, Port Royal?
So that's, I'll pull a little bit of weather up on the thing, but I know darn well that if it's May, it's probably going to be raining somewhere in the United States, right? I mean, that's just kind of
right.
It's just kind of how it goes. But if you're out there today, just bring you a jacket. Get you some a poncho to wear. Take out there. But if you're looking on the radar right now, guys, we're pretty clear around here today. So I'll pull this picture up for us. And
Williams Grove Speedway got hit again last night.
Yeah, it did. So as you can see, Marie was right. Looks like a lot of green heading towards the Columbus, Philadelphia, Charleston area there, Cincinnati. So
man, that's a pretty big storm right there.
Pretty big storm right there, guys. So I can see why they've already pulled the plug out there in PA area. So, but look at us.
I think we're good in this part.
Yep, look at that. We're pretty.
Yeah,
we're clear, guys.
Clear.
So
Knoxville looks good.
Looks good. You can
Central
go to
Missouri Speedway looks good.
You can go all the way up to Iowa. Go down to anywhere you want, guys.
Texas Motor Speedway looks good.
Texas Motor Speedway looks pretty dry. Everything looks good down there. So shouldn't even have any issues with any of the racing today out there. So if you're out there, buy a T-shirt, buy your program, support your track. Those tracks need it. Your drivers need it. Take care of your guys.
That 4-hour drive up there to Knoxville, I'm thinking about going to CMS tonight.
Well, that's what the camper up at the North Fairgrounds is for. You don't have to drive it all 8 hours in one day.
Right.
You can stay up and come back tomorrow. Why not do that?
Absolutely.
They did, looks like they did get in at Attica Raceway Park last night. They got that show in. They had, looked like they had some sprint cars there last night. I was going to try to look up the results of that here before we go. But anyway, yeah, it's just you want to definitely check where you're going if they're going to have it before you venture out to it. That's probably a good idea. But no, I'm looking forward to heading down to CMS tonight.
Marie says it looks good for the Outlaws at the Grove next week.
Next weekend.
Right.
The Morgan Cup.
Right.
But here's the other thing. What is it looking like at Eldora Speedway right now, Todd?
I don't know. I haven't pulled that up. I know that it looked pretty. I did pull
sketchy.
I know I pulled up that Columbus looked pretty. So let me pull that weather back up again. I'm heading to a wedding today. My niece is getting married today, so
congratulations to your niece.
Yep, it's an evening wedding, guys, so it's going to be a little different. So I'll be hanging out around the house.
It'll be a late night for you.
It'll be a very late night for me, and then tomorrow I have here we go. Let me pull up this weather radar for you here. I have a birthday party to go to for my uncle. My uncle turns 85 tomorrow, so congratulations on that. So yeah,
Happy birthday!
I think it does. I mean, you say Eldora, right?
Right.
Rossburg, Ohio.
Pull
We
that
thought
up right
last
now.
night when we looked at the forecast, it might be a little bit on the sketchy side. I don't think anything's been cold yet.
No,
but-
I haven't seen anything. Let's see. Here we go. Ohio Speedway. Well,
so as
here it
we
is right
check
here.
it, the Let's Race 2 Night 2 is still on for Eldora Speedway tonight.
There's what you're looking at, the live weather radar, Kirk. So
You're looking at Indiana. There is Ohio. I'm seeing a big green blob over what I don't want to see.
right.
Right now.
yeah, there we go. Now it's done buffering. So yeah,
Everything
Columbus
is still on as of now at Eldora Speedway.
Yeah. So but like you said, maybe they're just waiting for all this to pass, and maybe there's nothing going to be this afternoon.
Well,
that?
the history at Eldora Speedway, they'll race at 4 o'clock in the morning at that.
Yeah.
So they're not going to call anything off yet. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that at Eldora Speedway with the Let's Race 2. The only bad part about that, for those of us that are not there, is you flip back and forth from Flow Racing to Dirt Vision to see it all.
Right.
The USAC stuff's on Flow Racing and the World of Outlaws on Dirt Vision, so you have to kind of flip back and forth to watch the races this weekend at Eldora Speedway.
Are they going to have the Melbourne Bank Series on TV tonight?
Crown Vision, I think that's the name of it. So if you're not able to make it down to Central Missouri Speedway,
Crown Vision,
Crown Dirt Video. I was going to look to see what the name of that is, but yeah, they'll have live video of that if you're not able to watch it. If you're not able to be there tonight, but I'm going to be there. Always better to be there.
Yep.
So,
all right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints.
Monday, we've got Rico Abreu lined up for the Mostly Motorsport Show. Noon.
How about that?
On Monday, live.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We want to thank our guests, Tyler Courtney, Ashton Torkinson, Pat Warren, Chase Briscoe as well. Anybody else we need to add, Kirk?
I think we got them all in.
Got them all in. We have Jeremy Elliott, if you want to go back and listen to that podcast, episode 358.
With
We had
Sprint Car Unlimited.
Sprint Car Unlimited.
yeah,
we talked
had
a
him
whole
on the
bunch
show.
about Ashton as well in that thing. There's some more good information about Ashton in that interview. So episode 359, Monday afternoon.
That's 359?
Coming up. 359
episode
coming
360 this coming Monday.
up. No, 359 coming this Monday. 358, yeah.
Gotcha.
So 358, if you need to find that one that was just on with the Torgerson and Sunshine, that one's up and ready to roll. You can watch that anytime.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We want to thank our guests, Tyler Courtney, Ashton Torgerson, Pat Warren, and Chase Briscoe.
And Todd, great job as always.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good week out there.
All right. We're going to wrap up Track Talk here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. For Todd Surprise, for Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on Track Talk.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.